Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. Queuing up Amazon Prime recently to watch an episode of The Young and the Restless, it hit me like the proverbial ton of bricks. When I went to the SOT's homepage, there were Victor, Nikki, and Jack, inarguably the show's three most recognizable characters. But the daytime drama is called The Young and the Restless. And while the dynamic trio may be restless, well, let's just say that it's been a minute since they were able to chalk up their misadventures to inexperience and youthful folly. And that's when it occurred to me that Young and Restless doesn't actually have any characters under 30 years old. None that are on contract anyway. Faith, Lucy, and co. only recur. Now I'm not at all one of those people who thinks that to bring in a young audience, you need young characters. I've laughed right along with you at the execs who have clung to that notion, even as it's been proven wrong over and over again. But some diversification of the canvas wouldn't kill the show. In fact, it would help. How? So glad you asked. For starters, the addition of some teens or 20-somethings would force Young and Restless to hatch the occasional plot that doesn't revolve around business. It might even corner the romance-averse show into playing a love story. Remember when Young and Restless told those? Back in the day, Nick and Sharon made us swoon, Lily and Daniel made our hearts skip a beat. We had our breath waiting for JT and Colleen's first kiss. Those were good times. The downside of bringing in the next generation, of course, is that it means that some of the last generation will have to go to make room for them. And I know that nobody likes change. Suggest writing off a character, any character, and suddenly that character becomes your all-time favorite. But I love society customer no. 7. It's gotta happen, folks. Otherwise, we are stuck with a canvas full of untouchable couples and characters condemned to move from one corporation to the next and from one CEO position to the next while our eyes glaze over. And you know as well as I do that this is what the late great Bill Bell would have done. You'll recall that he wasn't afraid to exact major change. If he had been, the Brooks and Foster families would still be front and center, not the Newmans and Abbotts. In the heart of a small town, tucked between a vintage bookstore and an old movie theater, stood the Crossroads Cafe. It was a place where dreams brewed like coffee, strong and rich, yet sometimes bittersweet. Here, laughter mingled with the aroma of freshly baked pastries, and friendships blossomed over shared tables. Ava at 17 was a whirlwind of ambition and uncertainty. With a sketchbook always tucked under her arm, she envisioned a future where her art would grace gallery walls. But each time she picked up her pencil, self-doubt crept in. Today, she sat at her usual table, the sunlight spilling through the window, casting warm glows on her sketches of vibrant landscapes and whimsical characters. Across from her was Leo, her best friend since childhood. At 19, he was a budding filmmaker, capturing moments with his camera. He had just finished a short film that he hoped to submit to a local festival. His passion ignited a fire in Ava, yet she couldn't shake the feeling that she was lagging behind. "Are you going to submit your sketches anywhere?" Leo asked, leaning back in his chair, fingers fiddling with a worn-out film reel. Ava shrugged, pushing her hair behind her ear. "I don't know. What if no one likes them? Or what if they do? You won't know until you try." His enthusiasm was infectious, but her anxiety gnawed at her. Maya, a spirited 22-year-old, had just returned from her first year of college. She had spent her summer working as an intern at a design firm, and her head buzzed with ideas. Today, she sat at the cafe, sketching designs for a sustainable fashion line that blended style with environmental consciousness. "Life's too short for what-ifs, Ava." Maya chimed in, glancing over at her friend. "You have to put yourself out there. Otherwise, you'll always wonder." Ava nodded, the encouragement tugging at her heart. But the fear still lingered, like a shadow refusing to fade. Enter Jackson, a 20-year-old musician with a guitar slung over his shoulder. He had dropped out of college to pursue his dream of touring, but the reality of living as a struggling artist weighed heavily on him. Today, he was back at the cafe, strumming softly while sipping on a chai latte, lost in thought. "Jackson, you should perform at the festival with us," Leo exclaimed, his eyes lighting up with the idea. Jackson smiled weakly, the thought appealing yet terrifying. "I don't know, man. What if I mess up? What if no one shows up?" "But what if they do?" Maya countered, her voice firm. "You're talented. We believe in you." Jackson looked around the cafe, noticing the familiar faces of regulars, each absorbed in their own worlds. The idea of sharing his music with them felt like standing on the edge of a cliff, ready to leap. As the weeks passed, the Crossroads Cafe became a hub of creativity. The trio began meeting regularly to share their progress. Elva finally found the courage to submit her sketches to a local art contest, while Jackson decided to join Leo in a collaborative performance for the upcoming festival. Maya, meanwhile, worked tirelessly on her fashion designs, even starting a social media page to showcase her work. One rainy afternoon, the cafe was buzzing with excitement. Posters for the festival decorated the walls, and the energy was electric. "Ava, did you hear back from the contest?" Leo asked, his voice barely audible over the chatter. Ava's heart raced. "Not yet. I'm trying not to think about it." "Don't let fear hold you back," Maya encouraged, her eyes sparkling. "You're a force of nature when you put your mind to it." The festival day arrived, and the cafe transformed into a lively venue. People filled the space, laughter echoing against the walls. Ava's heart raced as she prepared her art display, while Jackson and Leo set up their performance area. As the sun began to set, Jackson took a deep breath, stepping onto the makeshift stage. His heart pounded as he strummed the first chords of his song. The crowd fell silent, and he poured his soul into the melody. Ava stood among the audience, a wave of pride washing over her. She felt the same adrenaline coursing through her veins, knowing she had taken a leap by showcasing her work nearby. After Jackson's performance, applause erupted, filling the cafe with warmth. He grinned, a mix of disbelief and joy lighting up his face. "You did it!" Leo shouted, clapping his friend on the back. As the festival wound down, the trio gathered at their usual table, adrenaline still buzzing in the air. Ava couldn't contain her excitement. "I sold a couple of my sketches." "See? I told you," Maya exclaimed, her smile wide. "And I think I want to keep performing," Jackson added, a newfound confidence in his voice. In that moment, surrounded by friends and dreams realized they understood that the journey of self-discovery was ongoing. Each of them was at a crossroads, and while the future remained uncertain, they were no longer afraid to embrace it. Months passed, and the Crossroads Cafe became a symbol of their growth. Ava's art gained recognition. Jackson began performing regularly, and Maya's fashion line took off. They supported one another through every challenge, and their dreams, once shrouded in doubt, now glimmered brightly in the fabric of their lives. In the end, it wasn't just the cafe that was a crossroads. It was the friendships, the ambitions, and the courage to leap into the unknown that truly defined their journey.